Two absolute stars of the Bridgenorth Football Club, Bruce Bell and Wim Vaessen also represented the Tasmanian Amateur League side at the Australian Amateur Football Championships in 1985. A three-time premiership player and two-time best and fairest, Bruce Bell was selected as the ruck in the 1971 to 1999 Bridgenorth All-Star team. Wim is also a member of the All-Star side from that period, was a member of the 1996 Senior Premiership and won the club best and fairest in 1993. He had a magnificent career, which culminated in also being named captain of the All-Australian side on one occasion. Here are the stories of our next two club legends, Bruce Bell and Wim Vaessen. Well, I'm here with Bruce Bell and Wim Vaessen, premiership players with the Bridgenorth Football Club and also members of the Tasmanian Amateur League team back in 1985. We'll get to that a little bit later. But Bruce, I might start with you. You're a life member of the club, 83 and 84 premiership player, and then leapfrog to 1996. But take us back. Where did it all start for you?
Started at school. I went to Exeter and... most of the schoolmates played with Bridgenorth, and so I thought I'd come and have a game as a 15-year-old. And a mate, Tim Lack, used to live up over the back, and I used to catch the school bus and get off the bus at his place, and we'd go and have some biscuits and a drink. And ironically, he used to chuck me on the back of a little RM80, and I'm not quite 6'2", and I'm the same height now as I was then. I can imagine me coming down the road and on the back of him, hanging onto him with the legs out here like this, going through the paddocks. And he dropped me off and walk over and come in here and do a few laps, and then other blokes would start turning up. So
fantastic.
Yeah,
and what was it like back then? You know, we're talking obviously over 40 years ago here. What was it like this ground compared to what we see here today?
Well, we used to have two lights. So we trained with two lights, and middle of winter, there was always the one patch was always muddy and wet. The other side wasn't too bad, but just the condition of the ground now compared to then, it's just uncomparable. Like, like I said, two lights that weren't much brighter than that one, but it's just completely different. There was more of a trust thing too, because everyone knew where the key was to the door, so you'd turn up, reach, grab the key, come in, get changed, grab a ball and go out and have a bit of a kick. But you can't do that now.
Can't. Wim Vaessen, for you, best and fairest in 93, premiership player in 1996, formerly with Exeter. So was that a natural progression with the way football was going in I guess, down the West Tamar? Is that how you sort of ended up here at Bridgenorth?
Definitely. When I was at Exeter, we had a pretty good team. Our biggest issue in Exeter was the fact that we were struggling to get committee members. And I know that Tim Coyle and myself actually sat down at one stage at Exeter and said, hey, we need to go to Bridgenorth and approach them to possibly amalgamate. And so we had a good crop of players at the time, but we just didn't have the working committee there. We were relying on two or three people year in, year out to do it. All of a sudden we had a lot of people on the committee. That lasted for 2 to 3 years, then we fell over. And next progression was to obviously come up here to Bridgenorth. And the difference between that side of the administration was phenomenal. As you say, there's no houses around here, outside of the odd one or two that are dotted around the place, but the support was phenomenal up here.
It's a recurring thing that we've had from a number of people we've already interviewed, was just, you can see with the family history and the generations that have been involved with the club as well. Was that, what did that teach you, I guess, around the importance of, we see the club here today now, 100 years later, is still going. Do you think that's because we have seen so many clubs and associations go? Is that the key?
Oh, look, the key here is the family. If it's not blood relations, it is the fact that the community is basically a family up here. As you say, you've only got to look at the honour roll here with the names that are on there, and they date back a long way. So, and they make you feel part of it up here too. So, which is great.
You probably don't like to talk about yourself too much, and most people don't. But you had a very distinguished career. Obviously, part of the All-Australian amateur team as well, which you were named captain. Was football always in your blood? Was that the sport you always played?
I played football from basically grade 4 at Riverside Primary School, all the way through. So I suppose you could say it has been in the blood, yes.
What did you love about the game, and what do you love about the game today still?
I enjoyed the game. I don't know whether it was because I could actually play the game, but I just enjoyed the camaraderie between the teammates. As for today, I actually really do struggle to come and watch a game of football. I get itchy feet still.
Right.
And whether it's the old footballer syndrome that I should be still out there, I don't know. I don't know, Bruce is probably in the same boat in one respect, but I do really struggle to come and watch a game of football.
Bruce, we've got the flag above you there, the NTFA Premiership flag from 1996.
Yep.
How different was it? Because it said 83 was your first Premiership, 96 was the next one. What were the biggest changes you noticed, I guess, from a club point of view between that period of time?
Probably the biggest thing is Gary Davis coached in 84, and he had a thing on the board with a team of 6, however many teams there were through the year, I can't remember, but he had the lines for the training. If you miss one training night, you got a cross, and each person, so your team, and at the end of the year, the team that had the least amount of crosses on it, we all got a carton of beer each.
Oh, wow.
So there was an incentive to train.
Bugger.
Yeah, and so I remember the team that won. I can't remember who it was, but the team that won, I think they had 3 crosses for the year. And if we had a bad game, if we got beat or we had a bad game, it was training Sunday morning. He was out here at 9 o'clock Sunday morning training. Frost, rain, irrespective, you trained, and everyone trained. Whereas 96, we would attest to that. We had some very skilled players in that team. Kevin McLean coached, and we could have almost had probably 10 of those players coach. So we had a lot of ability, a lot of skill, with a lot of games played by players. So just that difference back then, whereas you had the leader, was what Muscles told you to do, you did it. Yep. And there was that big respect for those senior players. I'm not saying that there wasn't in 96, but 96 we were lucky enough to have a team of players that had probably, I don't know how many, at least 100, 150 games behind them each. So just a big difference.
So talking about that era in the 96 Premiership side, what were some of the other really players that really impressed upon you in that era?
Oh, I'll have to say Bruce because he's sitting beside me, of course. But we had the likes of Paul Beachy here. Numerous, wasn't there, really?
There's...
Puss Hadley was here, I think, if I remember correctly.
Andrew Pitt. You had...
Gibbo.
Yeah, Gibbo.
And you see Gibbo is obviously an ex-coach as well, that could be relied on. Beach was another ex-coach. So we had, as Bruce said before, we had those people in the club that could still coach and do it out on the ground as well. So it was a real plus in that light, yeah.
Your Benny Kirk, your Jimmy Newstead.
Yep.
Solid players.
But you'd hard to, you don't really want to miss anyone out either, because anyone who plays in a premiership team is deserving of being there. So, and I'll say that because I've only won the one.
And just talk about you two for a moment. What was it like, both of you representing Tasmania together at the same time? That must have been pretty special.
I think any time you represent a state, or anything at a higher level, it's an achievement. And yes, it is special. Yeah. And don't take it too lightly. Yeah. I'm fortunate enough at the moment to be coaching some athletes that can actually make national representation, and you try and drill upon them, hey, this is a pretty big achievement, so yeah, you need to be working pretty hard to do what you're doing.
As Wim can attest to it doesn't happen every day.
No.
You can play for years and years and years, and yeah, it's just I didn't play a lot when I went away. I was second ruck to Rod Thomas, so you've got a
tough one to crack.
Yeah. So Rod had needed a rest, I'd slip up, but yeah, so I didn't get to play as much. But yeah, just to go away, it's just a big. Your head feels so big when you think about it. And, yeah, it was good.
Something to be proud of.
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah.
Who are some of the characters? Who are some of the great characters of this Bridgenorth Football Club? The parents.
Oh, we've had a few. There's one fella, Charlie Ingalls. He played in '96. His brother.
Sheep shearer.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's a shearer. His brother got married on the grand final day, so he missed out. Played all year. Anyway, he came back a few years later, and he rolled his ankle first game. He used to do the 3 peaks. He was a runner.
Yeah.
Anyway, he rolled his ankle first quarter, and he said, sent a bloke into his bag. He said, little hip flask in there, bring it out. So he's sitting on the bench, sucking into this with ice pack on. And he said, I finished it, take it into Johnny, who's behind the bar, get him to fill it up. Polish the second one off, 3/4 time, put some tape on it, I'm right, I can't feel it. He's gone out on the ground.
Yeah.
How many weeks did he miss after that?
Oh, about 4.
Yeah.
He was a character. Yeah. The bloke said to him, the coach said to him, Kevin said to him, he said, are you fit? He said, well, last time I put one foot in front of the other, he said, I did 37 Ks. Oh,
Yep.
So you're fit.
Yeah.
That's a good answer.
Yeah. Do you remember the Sunday after the grand final? We jumped on.
I can't remember anything after the grand final. So how's that sound?
Yeah. We all got in a group here on Sunday, and we jumped on the back of Grant Peck's old Triton Ute, the team, and we're going round, and the poor old thing's like this, doing a lap of the ground, and Gibbo was right at the back, and they hit a bump. Well, he's like this. And he's put his hand out to grab Kevin, and Kevin was standing back there, he just gave him a push. I thought, I'm not going with you. Over he's gone, he's only doing about 5 Ks.
Yeah.
He bowled over and picked himself up, dusted himself off and walked across the ground. He thought, I'm not getting back on the back.
Yeah. And you're both still well connected. You support this club and take a keen interest in the Bridgenorth Football Club to this day?
This is the first year that I've stepped down. When I finished playing in '98, I became a trainer, and probably 15 years ago, I started doing massage. So I did a diploma in massage, so I was a club masseur, and so I thought, I'm starting to get a bit older, the body's starting to let me know. This year was, I did the first game and first practice match, and thought, nah, I'm stepping aside, let the young ones do it. But yeah, so I think it's 45, 46 years.
Long time.
Amazing.
Pretty much. Yeah. A couple of stints in between where I didn't play, broken bones. So yeah, I didn't have the soft tissues, I had the broken bones.
And women's and athletics trainer, you've always been able to keep yourself fit and healthy?
I'd like to think that. Whether I am or not, I don't know. Yeah, as I say, I probably haven't been up to the club as much as I would really like to, but as I said before, I do struggle with it. I really do struggle sitting watching sport, regardless of what it actually is. Even at AFL level, I do struggle. I'll watch 10 minutes of it, then I'll go back and I'll do something else. And that's with most things as well. So, yeah, I do keep an eye on what the club is actually doing though, as well. So, yeah.
And just finally, and I'll ask this to both of you, is we see, regardless of whether it's work or sport, you've got to evolve. Now, the Bridgenorth Football Club got a great junior under-18s program. The under-18s have been successful. Their women have won the premiership for the first time. We talked about the backbone and the community and the volunteers of the club, but must be very proud to see that the club is not only sustaining things, but is continuing to evolve and improve.
Yeah, once again, I think that goes back to those people behind the scenes, that family behind the scenes, that have really pushed this club. This has been completely changed in the time that I've played here. The far end change rooms up there, you know, it's phenomenal. The lighting on the ground, the irrigation on the ground. You know, we would come out here pre-season and be like running on concrete. At least now they've got something decent to be training on. It is really phenomenal. Yeah.
I wish you could be running and playing out here on a ground like this now. You'd be bouncing off.
No questions asked there. Yeah, I'd be silly to say, oh, no, I wouldn't like to be out there. I know if I was out there, my body wouldn't let me do what I do. Quite simple. So yeah, yeah, I'm really impressed with the amenities here. Yeah, it's great.
And Bruce, for you, someone who played in the 80s and the 90s with the club, who were the teams that you just really, really wanted to beat? Who were your big rivals back then?
Well, the main ones were the town rivals, Exeter and Bridgenorth. There was always that rivalry. Irrespective of where you played, you always wanted to beat each other. Another big one for me was Georgetown. They had some very good players, as you would attest to. Had some very good players. A couple of blokes I used to play against from when I started as a 15-year-old and came through. And I was still playing against them when I'd retired. And they came through the same. So Dale Crane, Jeff Bannon, just to name two. And I wouldn't mind $1 for every time I played against Jeff as a ruckman. Being a 6'6", and I'm not even 6'2", and yeah, so just different. He played a different style to what I did. So yeah, it was nice to play against a player of his calibre. Hillwood was another one.
Yep.
Darryl Griffith when he first started there. Yep. He first game he played, he gave me a bath. I hardly got a tap. Wim came into me after the game. He said, "How'd you go today, Bruce?" I said, "I had a dog." Shit of a game. He said, "How many taps you win?" I said, "About 3." He said, "I beat you. I got 5." There's someone that's 6 or 8 inches shorter. And just the way he played. He came in over the back and did the tap, whereas you can't do that
Not
now.
allowed to do now, no.
Yeah.
One thing that struck me with what you said then, Bruce, is loyalty. Now, back then, if your club, obviously Exeter went away, but players stayed with their clubs a lot more back then too, because you used to see 2, 3, 350 game players on a regular basis. So people were very proud of the clubs that they played for and really didn't harbour ambitions unless they were going to go to Victoria to actually move.
Yeah, I remember playing, I'm not sure the year, I think we had 5 300 gamers playing in the seniors and probably about 4 200 gamers. Blokes that had come through and stayed in the one place. Yeah. Yeah, just to be in the one era and play with your mates and come through.
Was that something you noticed as well? I mean, obviously with Exeter, a different scenario, but...
Yeah, different. We had a lot of multi-game players at Exeter. But once again, when we came up here, there was that another level of it up here. I'd come from Launceston where there probably wasn't that many that were I'll say 100 game plus players. Went to Exeter, there were more there that probably had 200 games, etc. Then you come up here, 300 games, as Bruce said. They just had that knack of being able to hold players here. And whether it is the fact that, it is such a tight community. And I know that I've made very good friends outside of the football from these footballers here.
Well, look, both of you, thanks for your contributions to the club and over successful periods over those 2 decades as well. That you were a part of, obviously Bruce and Wim with during the 90s when you came over here. You two are held in very high regard with the club, and I know that for a fact, and speaking to so many, you mentioned a lot, so we thank you for your contribution. It's all been very significant to as part of the first, and I call it the first 100 years of the Bridgenorth Football Club. Yep. Thank you.
Thank you. No worries. Cheers.
1808 Lounge Bar, Launceston's own Rum Rebellion, where cocktails pack a punch and rums rewrite the rules. This isn't just your average bar, it's a nod to the 1808 Rum Rebellion, serving up more than 50 rums, including every Tasmanian variety available. Whether it's a date night, after-work drinks or a spontaneous late-night rendezvous, 1808 sets the scene. Dive into bold tapas, vibe out to eclectic tunes, and let the atmosphere whisk you away. Find them at 186 to 188 Charles Street, Launceston, where rum rules, the rules bend, and good times never clock off.